Okay, let's get to that controversy with BYU. Panel, is it the right move to cancel games against BYU like South Carolina is doing, despite no hard evidence? Angela, you are our resident attorney, so we start with you.
Well, the coach of the South Carolina team, her first and foremost interest is the safety of her players. And so if that's her choice, absolutely she should run with it. But I'm not certain why anybody thinks the NCAA should get more involved here, regardless of how disgusting the slur is. I'm in no way condoning the slur. But if we're going to talk about fairness overall and how things are adjudicated, can we bring up Jeremy Lin and how he's talked about how he was called coronavirus on the court, all sorts of disgusting things while both in the NBA and also at Harvard, and nobody batted an eye. Nobody ever thought that something should happen as a result.
Right, and I agree with you on that. The NCAA, if you have followed any of their history, they have a pattern of actually, picking and choosing when they want to get involved. My father-in-law was the late great basketball coach, and who's now in the Hall of Fame, Jerry Tarkanian, who famously won at the Supreme Court level against the NCAA for their harassment and their accusations. And so, I do not have any good feelings or anything nice to say about the NCAA, and I don't think they should be getting involved. This is at the university level. It's a shame that this coach has decided not to play BYU. It's not the team's fault that this individual was disgusting. The university supposedly banned this student from returning to any more future games. And I'm sure if it really did happen, there would be plenty of people to also speak up on this individual's behalf. Now, the other interesting thing we're finding out, though, is that the accused, and I believe you said her name was Rachel, her godmother is also a lawyer in Texas who's running for circuit court judge. Her Twitter account is now private because she has a history of pushing pretty bad rhetoric and actually pushing hoaxes. So this will be interesting to find out in the end if this is all true or not.
Wow. First of all, I'm blown away that I loved your dad from the UNLV team. So I'm kind of had a starstruck moment right there. But I have to agree that this is not the NCAA's fault, or they should be put on blame for this. I feel BYU didn't let black people go there until the 80s. So BYU was BYU. But let's just say sporting events in general, I've been to sporting events in Europe, soccer matches where they throw bananas on the field. They can get crazy, but at the college level, I think that it's sort of a more high class situation because you have a lot of eyeballs on the field and in the stands. And I don't think that Dawn should have pulled her team out. I think that was more of a stunt, if anything. And I'm not saying, because I don't think her team is going to be in harm's way if they go play a game in Utah. I just don't feel it.
So, Jason, before we get to you, I want to piggyback off what Brian is saying there, and also off of what Angela said. So Angela's saying that, the coach's responsibility is to protect her players if she thinks that this is something that could potentially happen. But then again, there's no evidence that it happened. Is that a smart move to just say, we're pulling out, we're not going to play these games?
No, it screams not just of stunt, it sounds political. There's no evidence that this actually occurred. And I think, look, at the beginning, most people were willing to give this story the benefit of the doubt. I remember originally I thought that it was only one person who allegedly used this slur, but then you started to look into some of the allegations, and it was apparently happening from multiple people across a good portion of the game. And yet, weirdly, when you're surrounded by college students, no one was able to record this. That there's no evidence that's on video that shows this actually occurred. That is kind of absurd that we jumped to this level, that we just assumed that it happened. You don't want the NCAA getting involved, because if they do an investigation, they're going to actually come out and tell you what they found, which is there's no evidence. There's literally no evidence to corroborate any of these claims that were made.
Right. And well, so let's talk about that. So BYU announced that they did ban that fan who actually wasn't a student, was an adult, but that fan was banned. And again, now if we're learning that there was no evidence, was that initially the right move. I mean, in light of this is 2022, you know, we're certainly living in a different time now than in the past. But was that the right move to immediately ban that fan?
That's the only reason. But that's the only reason they did that so quickly, was because it's 2022 and just the allegation. Doesn't matter if there's any facts to back it up. Just the allegation can get to a point where you see people trying to cancel you, people protesting you. It doesn't matter whether or not it's true. And that is damning for our culture right now, because all of the media outlets that covered this story initially, a lot of them have been awfully quiet, as there have been some serious doubts raised about the veracity of the claim.
And before Angela, I saw you immediately react to that. I just want to give you a chance to say something really quick.
I agree that the investigation could have been bungled, like, sure, but that doesn't mean that doesn't give the coach the right to try to protect the interests of her students if she feels like it, or her players.
But no, you're protecting them from words. That they're disgusting words, but you're protecting them from words.
And wait a minute, Brian, you said she's in South Carolina?
I mean, I'm like this. If I was in Vegas gambling on where would something happen racist, South Carolina or Utah, I'm going to go for South Carolina. I mean, you know, Mormons are nerds. Are they racist people there? Sure. I can't see.
Brian, we just talked about people getting canceled for making statements.
I know.
Now, all right, panel, we are quickly running out of time. Thank you so much to our panel today. Thank you for watching. On Balance with Leland Vittert is next. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.